As a 40-year-old man from Long Island, I find myself in love with a couple of 55-year-olds from New Jersey.
Yes, we're learning about Italian in a way that we never thought that we would, right? This is real, like feeding people and loving the heritage and Sean Stellato dressing up like a mafioso, all those things. Mm-hmm. But actually, it's a conversation I should have with Sean because I think, Sean, you can answer this better than Evan, who doesn't really care about our quarterback.
That's not true. I care greatly about him.
He doesn't really care. If the Giants quarterback situation goes to pot in 2024, Evan will be like, good. We got the stage all to ourselves. Aaron Rodgers is healthy.
You're a bad guy.
Zach Wilson is still the backup. Wait, this is amazing. We don't have to worry about it. But so, Sean, let me ask you, are you okay with Daniel Jones being the guy next year? If Daniel Jones is healthy enough, are you okay with Daniel Jones being the guy? Or are you nervous that Daniel Jones might get injured again? Or that Daniel Jones might have, I don't know, too much pressure in another prove-it year? Are you okay with Daniel Jones? A simple question, yes or no?
It's not a simple question. It's a loaded question. My gut tells me yes, I like Daniel Jones.
Okay, but are you okay if he doesn't pan out?
If Daniel Jones
doesn't pan out, for whatever reason, health, ineffectiveness,
next year.
Pressure.
By the way, it better be next year that it doesn't pan out so we can get out from it.
All right. But I'm saying if he doesn't,
then I'm okay with
what
him.
happens?
Then DeVito plays.
Okay, you're right. But what do we know about Tommy DeVito? Right?
I know that I love Big Tom.
We know that Tommy DeVito has beaten the Washington Commanders. He has beaten the Green Bay Packers. Who was the other team?
The Patriots.
And the Patriots. Right? Oh, world beating. He hasn't thrown for over 200 yards a game, right? He's just kind of being not bad, right?
What happened to you? Why are you such a hater?
Hold on. Because I need to see him beat a good team.
And he just beat a good team on Monday night.
Are we sure that the Packers are great? They're not a great team.
I didn't say a great team.
I need to see. Here's a bigger story. I need to know if Tommy DeVito is the answer for this team in any way, shape, or form. And right now, I'm being distracted by everything else. I feel like we're all in love with Tommy DeVito. Mm-hmm. And we know what happens when you're in love. You get obscured to anything that's like maybe not quite perfect enough.
I see what you're doing here.
We're in love with Tommy DeVito.
We're
in love. You said it, Evan.
I admit
We're in love with Tommy's family.
Yes.
We're in love with the hand gesture. What is that called? I don't even know what it's called.
It's just the Italian.
He's a good fella. He's one of us.
Of course he's a good fella. Of course he's one of us. This feels amazing, and I'm not knocking it at all. But I'm saying that the Giants have a real, not decision, but a real process that has to happen, and it's being obscured, right? I don't want Joe Shane in the locker room being like, oh, I love Tommy DeVito, because when it comes down to making a decision next offseason about who our quarterback is or who the backup is going to be if Daniel Jones is not that guy who ultimately has to be that player, I don't want the love of Tommy DeVito and his family to be the distraction
so you think
that makes us say, yeah, he's the guy.
So you think I am being distracted, and many others are being distracted by our love for Big Tom DeVito and our love for Alexandra DeVito. And I heard their love story the other day. I heard how they met. It's like one of the greatest love stories I've ever seen. They were at a Roy Rogers, Tiki, a Roy Rogers, and they were both in Corvettes. I'm not even kidding. They were in Corvettes. And Big Tom told his friend, I want you to pull that Corvette up right up to that blonde. I like what I see. He pulls right up to her, and Big Tom DeVito starts spitting game. And before you know it, they're in love. And before you know it, they're married. And before you know it, they're the king and queen of New York because they gave us the prince that we don't deserve, but the prince that we have. And you think that love story is distracting us from the fact that Biggie, little Tommy DeVito, is kicking ass?
At least listen to me, people. This is what I'm talking about.
What?
Evan just did it.
What'd I do?
He literally just did it.
Yeah.
You're telling the story that's not Tommy DeVito, X's and O's on the field. Can he be that guy? You're falling in love with the Tommy DeVito family. Oh. And by the way, they love all of us as well. They feed everybody who comes to the tailgate. It's amazing. I wish I would have went. I was over there. I was like, I didn't know what a tailgate was. I would have went over there. Got some chicken cutlets and some pasta fagioli. No, I probably didn't have that.
No, it was vodka and ziti. Come on, I watched the video.
Whatever it was. I should have went over myself. But we're talking so much about the family and this massive, amazing Italian heritage story
Tiki,
that
you're wrong.
that we're forgetting to look at who Tommy is, because the real evaluation is going to matter ultimately. And so it's incomplete. This is what we talked about yesterday, Evan. I'm not ready to anoint him the starter. I'm not saying that there's going to be a quarterback competition next year if Daniel Jones is healthy. But what I am saying is that we can't fall so in love with Tommy DeVito that we forget that there's still a lot we don't know about Tommy DeVito. That's all I'm saying. Because I love the story too. But I'm trying to look past it, because what matters is where the Giants are for the rest of this season and going into next season.
Why can't we do both? Why can't we walk and chew bubblegum at the same time? Why can't we talk about his game and talk about the way he's played and be fair about it? And I think a lot of Giant fans have. They're excited about what they're seeing.
Yeah.
While simultaneously
enjoying
the fact that we have something we don't normally have, and that's a local kid, which matters to me more than anything else.
Agreed.
And fall in love with his family and the fact he's living in his parents' house and mama is doing laundry and cooking. Why can't we do both, Teague?
You are, because we're leading with that. We're leading with that.
You guys have this all wrong.
And here's the prime example, and then I'm going to give you a chance, Sean. Justin Herbert, big, smart, beautiful kid from Oregon, handsome, just looks the part. He is that guy. He goes to the L.A. Chargers. They just moved to L.A. It's Hollywood. He's going to be amazing. The Rams are going to compete with the Chargers, and because they have Justin Herbert, you know what? He's so good, let's pay him. It's the wrong decision. Justin Herbert's not that guy. Right? Now he's out for the season, and the Chargers are stuck. But the Chargers are really stuck because they already paid him. Like, they fell in love with the idea of who they thought he was, not who he actually is. And I'm not saying Tommy DeVito's not going to be that, but I'm saying we're talking so much about, like, the brand of Tommy DeVito. We're not talking about Tommy DeVito, right? He's winning games, sure. But he's beaten the Patriots, he's beaten the Commanders, and he's beaten the Green Bay Packers, who, until like 5 weeks ago, were one of the most flawed teams in the National Football League. They also are the youngest team in the National Football League. They also didn't have Christian Watson, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL right now. They didn't have Quay Walker, their starting middle linebacker. They didn't have Zaire Alexander, the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. So yes, what Tommy DeVito did was fantastic. But when Rondo Robinson crapped on whatever the kid's name is, the defensive back on first down, and he goes 32 yards and sets up the game-winning field goal, we love it. We love it. But is he doing that every week? Every single week. And I don't know that yet, right? I got to see it against a good team. And I don't want to fall in love with Tommy DeVito before I actually make a decision on Tommy DeVito. Does that make sense?
Tiki, that made sense after Washington and New England. It no longer makes sense. You're moving the goalposts. We all thought the Packers were a good team. He also didn't have Darren Waller out there while Jair Alexander wasn't gone. And the bottom line is this. Tommy DeVito just became the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for at least 150, run for at least 70, not have a turnover, and not take a sack in a game. When was the last quarterback the New York Giants had that didn't take a sack in a football game?
I don't shine shoes anymore.
I don't care if he's from the middle of Indiana. I don't care if his parents look like two frying pans where, like, they're ugly. I don't care if they don't cook.
They are not.
I know. I don't care about any of that. Maybe that mattered in Washington, New England. What I saw on Monday night was a quarterback play quarterback for the New York Giants in a way with an energy of, like, we have been starved for too long.
And here's where you're wrong. So last year and the year before that, me and others fell in love with another quarterback out of nowhere in Mike White. And he didn't have the story. He wasn't from Jersey or Long Island or New York.
But you were just as in love.
Exactly. But that's my point. Like, it's added that he's a Jersey kid. It's added that he's Italian. Sure, that adds to the story. But an undrafted free agent emerging in New York City as our quarterback is a big deal. And we can love it and ride that wave no matter what the backstory is. What Tommy DeVito brings, and here's the extra, the bonus that Mike White didn't bring. Yes, it's his family who we now know. Yes, it's everything about him and his backstory. But we fell in love with Mike White 2 years ago. Were we wrong? Sure, ultimately we were because he couldn't stay on the field.
Right.
So here's where I differ with you. I believe as human beings and as New Yorkers, we can walk and we could chew gum at the same damn time. In the same breath, you can be enamored by what Sean mentioned, and that's some of the throws this kid's made. and the progress he's made. And more than anything, and this rubs me the wrong way when you're sitting here making excuses for his wins.
I'm not.
He won.
I'm just talking
Who
about
gives
the
a crap
reality.
about the Packers' injuries?
I'm talking about the reality.
Did he win?
Of Tommy DeVito.
Okay, here's reality. Did he win?
did. Will he beat the Eagles? I hope so.
Oh, we'll find out.
Right? Will he beat the Saints? I hope so.
Tiki, did he lead a game-winning drive with 1:40 to go?
Yes, Tommy DeVito's been fantastic.
Okay, so then give him his flowers for that.
I am, but we're not talking about Tommy
No,
DeVito.
you minimized it because of, the Packers' injuries and whatnot. And as far as the backstory, it's an added bonus. It makes him more likable, sure. It makes the family more likable, but we're not blinded by it. We're evaluating what he's done on the field. Mm-hmm. Why can't we do both? Why can't I love the love story that Big Tom and Alexandra have?
I love it, too.
Well, no, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't get to love it now.
I do.
No, because you crapped all over it.
No, it's just not the most important thing to me.
I didn't say it was the most important thing.
That's what you led with.
It's a part of his story. It's a part of who he is. He's a local kid who has led the Giants into an improbable playoff race.
Some more shines, Billy.
That's the reality. That's what he's done. And while he's doing that, yes, there are guys like me saying, boy, I got to tell you, I love this family. I love his dad. He's doing Peerless Boiler commercials on WFAN. God bless him for it. It's freaking awesome. It's Mike White on steroids. And I'm jealous. I'll be the first to tell you, but sometimes you show jealousy by trying to rip things down.
No.
I ain't ripping this down.
I'm not ripping anything
I'm
down.
showing jealousy by saying I admire it. I wish this was me.
What needs to lead is Tommy DeVito. Not all of the other stuff. Not the agent, not the Tommy Cutlets, not all of that non-important football-related stuff.
It's all important.
That's what I care about.
It's all important.
Another question for you, Sean. We're sitting there. There's the opportunity. Drake May, Tommy DeVito. Drake May, Caleb Williams. Drake May,
I'll stop
Jaden
you.
Daniels.
I'll stop you.
Who are we taking?
Tommy DeVito.
Okay.
And it ain't because of his parents.
I should rest my case right now.
Because of his play on the field.
I should rest my case right now.
I don't know that Caleb Williams is throwing that touchdown to Isaiah Hodgins. I'm in love now, Teak, and there's no taking him away.
Plus, how did Drake May's parents meet? Do we know?
I have no idea. And on that,
but his brother was a hell of a basketball player at UNC. I think he won a national title.
If this results in us getting Roy Rogers back all over the turnpike, I'll take that over the Super Bowl too.
Great. Joe is in Middletown, New Jersey. How are you, Joe?
What's up, guys? Listen,
What's
this
up,
was
Joe?
a really compelling argument, being on hold, hearing both sides, legitimately, one of the best ones you guys have had. And I kind of look at it like this. I'm really interested in this story. It's a lot of fun. Tiki, I think you're very pragmatic. You look at things from a former player, an elder statesman point of view. But you have to say that we're all swept up in this for, I think, many reasons. This is an underwhelming year overall in the NFL, and I think all of sports. And quite frankly, I think this is one of the best, sports human interest stories of the season thus far. The most exciting thing, I think, of the NFL year in the tri-state area was Game 1, in which Aaron Rodgers ran out onto the field,
right.
And we haven't had one since.
With the flag,
so
you're right.
It's pretty special, but Tiki, I wish sometimes you would get a little bit swept up in things. You seem the kind of guy who overanalyzes everything.
Joe, I was at the game. I was loving it.
Yeah.
I was high-fiving my boy Mike Hoyman. We were hugging each other. It was an awesome win.
Tiki.
It was amazing.
I know you're not going to like it.
But when it comes down to it, and maybe it's just because the weeks start to go on. I'm in football mode. I'm analyzing the Packers and the Buccaneers, the game I'm calling this weekend. I start thinking about, and let me actually go look back at Jake Browning. What did Jake Browning do for 275? What did he do? Oh, wait, 3 of those passes were screens for 130 yards. Oh, he just threw it 2 yards, and he got 130 yards and a touchdown out of that? Are we really going to get on Jake Browning's jock and make him, just as good as Joe Burrow? The answer is no. And so I end up getting, as the weeks go on, into all right, let me really look at this. Let me take the emotion out. I told you guys this. This is why Joe and I got into a fight 8 weeks ago, because he's like, you don't even watch the games. I'm like, yes, I do, Joe. I watch every snap multiple times, and I watch it unemotionally, because that's the only way that I can make real decisions on people is unemotionally. And my not problem, because I don't want to say this is bad, because it's not that. It's amazing, the Tommy DeVito story. But I feel like there's love leading. We're leading with love right? And at some point, that might catch up to us.
Here's the problem.
That's what I'm worried about.
Here's the problem.
And we'll make a decision like Sean just did.
Yeah.
Drake May or Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels. I want Tommy DeVito because I love his
Our
ass.
last caller's spot on. You got to get swept in the love. You can do both at the same time. You can evaluate his game, but also look at what's going on around you. And I'm sorry, you could drink out of that giant cup all day, and you could be Tiki Barber, giant running back legend. But here's the truth. You're a giant Grinch. That's what you are right now.
You know what's funny? Just to take a quick aside, my wife tells me the same thing.
Well, because she's right.
You're a giant Grinch.
Every Christmas, you are the Grinch.
Well, you're the
you hate the celebration.
Well, you're the
you
Grinch.
Hate the pomp and circumstance.
You're stealing our love in DeVito miss. That's what you're doing.
I'm trying to bring you back.
No, you called me a loser fan Monday because I wasn't all in. Now I'm all in. You're calling me a loser fan again.
He's trying to keep us all calm and balanced.
I'm calling you a distracted fan is what I'm calling you, Sean.
And you know what I'm calling you? The Grinch that's trying to ruin Christmas for Giant fans.
The Grinch that stole playoffs miss.
You're a mean one.
Oh, I love this.
Mr. Grinch.
That's you, Teak.
I know it.
You really
Trying to kill our DeVito love.
You know why I'm Mr. Grinch? Because Theodore Geisel,
No, don't do this.
who wrote, obviously, The Grinch, Stole Christmas, wanted to go to the University of Virginia.
Oh, really?
And you know what? He didn't get in.
Huh.
So you know what he did?
What?
He went and bought a house on the top of this mountain that looked down into grounds in Charlottesville.
Look at that.
And a few years later, there was a book that came out called The Grinch That Stole Christmas, looking down on all the Who's in Whoville.
Interesting.
I'm the
See, I didn't know
Grinch.
that.
There
I'm
you
going to
go.
bore my kids with that story in a couple of weeks.